Okay, I want to make this movie video about about the last couple of weeks. My brother and his family came to visit us. My brother, his wife, and two daughters came to visit us. It's probably one of the reasons I haven't been writing so much or doing these video things because of that. Actually, there's a lot of apprehension on my part, anxiety, before they came over. Their daughters, they have a maid over there in Singapore, and I was kind of worried about them not being satisfied with the cleanliness of our house. So I spent a couple weeks cleaning, whereas before that I'd actually stopped cleaning the house. Not totally, but for the most part, for various reasons, and I'd become quite accustomed. Well, kind of accustomed to the house being a little messy. When I finally sat down, looked at the house, I said, I don't mind it a little messy. But then I was apprehensive because I thought they would mind it messy. But as it turns out, their visit I enjoyed quite a bit. I had fun. One of the things I found out about myself, which I knew but didn't acknowledge before, is that I'm very similar to my brothers and probably to his family. Something I've always seen my younger brother as is messy. So when he came over to my house, I noticed that he would drop food on the kitchen floor. He's a really great cook. And stuff like that. Drop food on the kitchen floor, leave smudges on the white office desk. And at first it aggravated me, but then I applied some things I've been learning with regard to judgments. And I realized that those aspects that I was seeing in him that were aggravating me were actually aspects that I am or am. And so instead of, from that moment that I realized that, instead of being aggravated at him or projecting it onto him, every time I saw something that aggravated me about him or something else, I would look at the point and find it within me, and it stopped aggravating me. And I started realizing that we're not that much different. I walk into the kitchen and I walk out of there and the floor is a mess. I just assume I just always think of myself as a very cleanly person, but the truth is, yeah, I walk into the kitchen and things drop. Things get dropped on the floor. So it was once I got over that, once I started realizing the aspects that aggravated me about him were actually aspects about me, their visit was really cool. We went around the island, did hot springs, went camping. The ocean, I really enjoyed his wife and his daughters. I think they're pretty cool. His daughters remind me of him, and to an extent of us when we were younger. We were younger, growing up with no money, hardly any food at all. And it's interesting how you see that people, it's in the genes. It's in the genes. When we were younger and growing up, we didn't have any money, no dad, just a mom. But so we always had to fight over food or eat food as soon as it arrived. And so I just always assumed that was because of our upbringing, because we just didn't have when we were little. And when I see his daughters, or his daughter, one of his daughters, she acts just like we did when we were little kids, gobbling down food or eating as much food as she can as soon as she sees it, as though she's, doesn't know where her next meal has come from. But they've always had middle-class life, so to speak. So they've never been without really good food around them. So I learned something there too, that it really is in the genes, in the DNA, blood, with regard to a lot of our, let's call them habits or points that we live by, and we think it's just a product of our upbringing. It's led me to reconsider how much is actually a product of our upbringing and how much is actually in the DNA. So it was a good visit with my brother and his wife and 2 daughters that came over, 13 and 11, I think, like that. I had fun. We took Happy. Where's Happy? There's Happy. Yeah, we took her with us in a van around the island, so we had a great time. I have to say this, I guess. Better just say it. So I did drink alcohol almost every day that they were here. I would say almost, not every day, but I would say I had at least a beer. One day I had probably about 6 or 7 beers, but on average probably about 2 or 3 to 4 beers a day. And I smoked cigarettes. I'm not saying I fell. This is one key aspect with me, that there is no falling. I don't fall. I can't remember the last time I actually fell. I go anywhere, I jump. I jump in head first. I'm way too calculated to be falling. I rarely do. So as far as drinking beer, smoking cigarettes, there was no falling involved. That was clear jumping. Why? I don't know. I think it has something to do with knowing exactly where I am. Every now and then getting a positioning point. So, to be honest, I think what I'll do is wait until after the Chinese New Year before I do another fast. I'll try to go for 20 or 30 days this time, and do another stop. Yeah, sure, it'd be nice. I could say, okay, that's it. I'm changed. I'm there. I'm where I want to be. That's not the case, and so I'm not going to lie to myself. This isn't myself, and soon to be for others. This is where it is. Okay. So with regard to process update, no alcohol. With regard to process update, no cigarettes. Yeah, there we go. What else? Another point I want to make is cut my work hours down to 13, and I still don't seem to find I have any really free time. Maybe I got to look at how to organize, manage my time better. Just setting myself up with a schedule. And say, okay, this hours I'm going to do this, these hours I'm going to do that. Like for example, this morning, okay, it's Sunday morning. I got to clean the house. I've got to reload operating system on the computer, clean the house, wash all the camping stuff, sleeping bags and stuff, clean the house, reload the operating systems, get this video done, other stuff. So I think I'm going to have to look at how to, I hate to say the word manage my time, but yeah, use my time that I have during the day more effectively, because I've got a lot of it, and yet I still feel like good morning. I still feel like I'm like a giant, it's like a giant puzzle, and instead of in a linear manner, 1, 2, 3, accomplishing tasks, I'm just like accomplishing a task over here, accomplishing a task over there. And although the puzzle's getting filled in, it feels as though there's very little, how do you say, accomplished. Okay, so I'm gonna work on that. Again, as far as alcohol, cigarettes, I'll stop the cigarettes within the next 2 weeks. And alcohol, be careful about. We'll not go back to drinking whiskey and wine, but I still will probably drink some beers. Yes, I will. I'm not going to say I'm not going to. I've already decided. Then after the Chinese New Year, we'll do a fast.